Well, last time we got together, we had a topic about what to watch coming out of your mouth. This topic is about allowing freedom to speak. This is our part two of this small little series of tips to help you build good synergy with your team. You know, it's not easy leading teams. It's not easy getting good feedback sometimes. So we want to take a moment and kind of just review what we talked about the last time. And that is, we don't want to put our foot in our mouth. We want to keep our tone and other things to come about well. So when we model that for our employees and our teams and others, they kind of get to see that they too need to kind of watch what they're doing. And if they put their foot in their mouth, they should feel the freedom because you've led the example of saying, hey, I blew it. Being honest, taking responsibility. One of the best things I've ever done over the years is just agree when I've blown it. And when I've done that, my team finds freedom to let me know when they blew it instead of trying to lie or hide and create a greater dynamic down the road. But anyways, this discussion can translate and flow throughout the culture. Don't expect the kids to behave well if mom and dad got the potty mouth, right? So it's up to you as the management and the leadership to keep what's coming out of your mouth in that leadership mentality, even though we're going to talk about allowing freedom of speech, which almost is like a contradiction here, right? Well, kind of. See, if we unzip the freedom, we also unzip the potential. And allowing the team to speak is about the only way we're going to get good feedback. And again, we don't want them just spouting the party line because maybe the party line is off center. Maybe not much, maybe a lot. But if you have freedom to discuss things, then you can hear from the people that are trying to make it work. As long as we have to follow the party line and we got to watch what we say as employees, then we may not be free to say this is what's killing productivity, this is what's bringing morale down. So we need to have that. And so that process is not easy to, when we start allowing people to share what's on their mind, what they've been thinking about, what their opinion is. And it can get out of control. I've been in those meetings where it becomes a free-for-all. And it's up to the leadership to make sure that there's freedom for people to be able to have some discourse and disagreements even. So the volume can get out loud and so loud that if everybody's talking at the same time and we're over talking each other, and that's a political trick, is just to, just shout other people down, talk them down. And so you just say, you don't allow that. You're going to have one person at a time get to state their opinion. You may say there's going to be some timelines on it. And keeping what's being said and how it's being said is important still, because we all know, we've all been there, when we start trying to develop exchange of ideas, it can get combative. And those ideas may be at odds with each other, but both ideas or multiple ideas, while they're competing with each other and they're kind of combative, each might have an element that we can need to apply or use even for something else down the line. So, Lori, how do you referee this? It's a challenge, but I believe that if we will set the ground rules up front, you're free to drive down the freeway as long as everybody's following the same rules and going in the same direction. It's when people start disobeying rules, not following the rules, that we end up with accidents and problems. Same thing in these discussions to try to develop good teamwork. Establish what you want as the cultural rules. So we look at being firm and fair in whatever we do, and that usually has brought us a lot of good report back, and people have freedom when they know that there's some firmness there. You're not an easy pushover, but you're fair. Okay, respecting one another, respecting other people's idea, allowing them to talk. Do you know that married couples that fight and they are brutal with each other and they have no honor or respect usually fall apart? But those that have honor and respect work through their problems because they respect and they have honor. So having that is important. So we can allow for disagreements, but only if there's honor and agreeable attitudes to have healthy discourse. And sometimes we have to step in and say, okay, the emotions are flaring. Let's take a little break. Okay, let's just calm this down. This is starting to get out of hand. So you have to do that. And that's kind of that proactive, hard stuff that we don't like to do. And if people have got grievances, hey, in the team meeting, this is not the place to deal with it. Have it to say, okay, let's make sure that that gets dealt with in a private setting. Now, private setting may require you to bring in one or two other people that they want to bring in. That's fine. But it's going to be in a private setting. It's not going to be about the team building and the team strategizing and working together. And the other thing is trying to stay on target. One of the worst things that I found in any of our meetings, whether I was working for a company or I was coming in analyzing problems, the number one complaint was the agenda. If it was no agenda, that was the biggest problem. Or we didn't stay to the agenda. And I get it. Sometimes there's something that comes up that really needs to maybe be addressed. And so the question is do you do it then? Or do you schedule that for another meeting? And often it's maybe best to just say, hey, let's take note of this. I'd like to have a discussion about this at another meeting. So staying on target is usually your best. So mind mapping, brainstorming, it all needs to be monitored to allow other individuals to have the right to be heard. And again, there's no stupid ideas if we're willing to say that we want freedom for people. Because if we're going to put people in a shame and they're going to feel uncomfortable or embarrassed, they're going to shut down. So, you know, the story I heard years ago that made me laugh was the company that said we're going to develop square tires. So what do we got to do to come up with square tires? Or that came out in a discussion. I can't remember. It's been so long. But I've used this example before. So while that sounded like a really stupid idea, what came out of it was how to make the best suspension on a vehicle. And of course they didn't make square tires out of it, but they did come up with a great solution for suspension on the automobile. Now, again, it may be bizarre and it may be too far out there to really address in this meeting that you're having. But again, you want people to feel free enough that they can unzip their fear and unzip their shyness and unzip the shame and all that and be able to tell their idea. And sometimes it's just a spark idea and it's not well thought out, but together we can maybe make it a great idea. So those are kind of things that we're looking at when we're talking about team building and getting good feedback and developing better morale and a better company culture and making it less toxic of a work environment. Hey, this is the Synergy Doc. I hope you can take these little tips and apply them in your day-to-day activity and throughout, and tweak them and let us know if any of this is helping you, or if you'd like more details, contact us. We'll work with you on that. Have a great day.